what the privileged can get away with. I'm sorry I cannot be held accountable. I cannot be held responsible because I was privileged and had caring parents. Outrageous statements like these are just an example of what children with wealth are doing to get away with crime. The term for this type of insanity is affluenza, and the dictionary definition is a psychological malaise supposedly affecting the wealthy young people, symptoms of which include a lack of motivation, feeling of guilt, and a sense of isolation. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form saying that this does not exist, but we should not let children get away with manslaughter or murder because of this. Recently, a teenager named Ethan Couch was in the news for killing 4 other people while driving under the influence and pleaded that he cannot be held accountable because he was spoiled as a child. While this could be true that he did not know the difference between right or wrong while committing the crime, he still fled the country and went to Mexico trying to hide. I mean, if I was not guilty, instead of trying to fight my case and trying to prove my innocence, it makes more sense to just take a trip to Mexico with my mother and violate my probation, right? How foolish of him. What puzzles me is why flee. You had it all going for you. You had the jury believing your lie. You had a good lawyer, and then one day you try to escape to Mexico. The coward Couch does not suffer from affluenza, but he does suffer from believing he is untouchable for his family's fortune. Much of the behavior exhibited by these kids drive the idea that a small piece of paper with a couple of zeros can fix anything. But nothing is worth the same amount as a life that 2 people agree on making, caring for, and supporting. Life that took months to develop and years to grow up, life that is now gone. It will make a family mourn their loss of a child, the other a withdrawal from their bank account. The idea of affluenza as an unfair scapegoat. Mexican Americans and African Americans together make up 59% of those incarcerated in the United States and are now the most impoverished race in the United States. Not very surprising, I know, but did these kids have the same chance to plead affluenza on their child? No, because it only applies to children from wealth. Do you think even if they did plead this, they would get away with their crime? No, there is still sufficient evidence against all of them to be found guilty just as Couch. But with the funds to have a private lawyer, he would get away with manslaughter. Personally, affluenza is a touchy topic to me because I had a friend who was falsely charged and almost taken to juvenile hall. As the trial went on, he started to change mentally and become someone different. If you knew him, you would never think he would be one to ever get in trouble with the law. But because of a false accusation, he changed entirely. He went from being a happy kid who loved the world and wanted to be a positive example for his community to a kid who lost all hope and everything. Winning his freedom and life back came at the cost of his personality. My friend was never the same again. After the incident, he is not the happy person I see every day. He is the kid who fakes a smile for everyone, doesn't tell anyone what harsh comments the police told him, doesn't tell anyone about the situation, fearing people's judgment. It infuriates me that a kid this innocent was facing juvenile hall like Couch. This kid said he was innocent like Couch, but what sets them apart will not be who's convicted and who isn't. Instead, one told the truth and endured all the pain mentally and stayed strong, demonstrating through his actions he was innocent and did not flee or say he had a mental illness as a scapegoat. Affluenza should be thrown out of the courts and not be a scapegoat for just one end of the spectrum, because that day it was 4 people who died for one teenager's decision to drive. What will it be tomorrow?